Hello, welcome to Abundant Universe. Now, this is a space where we are going to be exploring how your mind, your deeper beliefs, and the universe all work together. Okay, so this is the things I'm going to discuss in this channel. They are things that might be new to some of us, but these are things that happen to us and affect our lives each and every day. Okay, so we'll talk about, we'll be discussing in the channel about the conscious mind, which is basically about your thoughts, your thought process, how you think, what you're thinking every day, and that's that comes under a you know a section in scientific terms that is known as the conscious mind. But as we do more of these discussions, you get to understand most of it. And so in my experience in learning about the mind, what I've understood is that you see, language and the technical terms sometimes they can make things complex or easy. So I want to make sure that, look, don't get distracted about the names of things. So some words might be technical, but when you get to understand them, these are very basic things which even a 5-year old can understand, right? So we'll talk about the conscious mind, which, as I said, is mainly your daily thoughts, things that are going on in your mind. So the conscious part, the things that you think, you know, on a conscious level, you are aware of these things, and then we'll discuss the conscious mind, which is a part. Sorry, we'll discuss then the subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind is that part of your mind that does things automatically, or we call them involuntary actions. Okay, in the science aspect, that part, it does things without you being aware or having to think about them. A good example of processes of the subconscious mind is just simple digestion, right? When you eat food, the process of digestion, you don't have to tell your mind that, okay, you don't have to tell your mind or your body that, okay, I just ate dinner, make sure I start digesting this, and send proteins to this part and all that. No, you don't do that. These are automatic processes, and they are handled by a part of your mind called the subconscious. So the subconscious does all those kind of things. It does plan things according to your beliefs and everything. Okay, but we will learn about that. So don't worry about the technicals. Then there is a part, the another part which we learn about is called the universal consciousness. Now, universal consciousness, from the word, it comes from the universe. Now, as you get to understand this, you find that there is a connection between your own conscious mind, your subconscious mind. So that is like your thoughts and your deeper beliefs, which is subconscious, your belief patterns, and things that have happened to you before, and the universal mind, which is like the whole energy, that connects us all together. So with the universal consciousness, this is like how everything is intertwined, how we are all connected as humans, how we connected with the environment. That's part of the universal consciousness. So Um, just to introduce the subject of, the channel and the teachings of, this, I'll call it a program, that we are going to go through. That's basically those three main parts. So to repeat once again: conscious mind, subconscious mind, universal consciousness. Okay. You find that I'll tend to repeat things that I say, and that's deliberate. Why? Because when you understand how the mind works, you understand that uh, repetition is very, very important, you know, and you will start understanding the idea of, and that's how we all learn as humans. We learn through repetition. Okay, you will understand that um, when children start talking, how do we teach them? Teach them through repeating the same words over and over. Okay, so these are things that you start getting the gist of it, of how all these things work. Right. So another thing that we will learn, and what you will find is that the things that I'll be discussing and sharing with you is that these things are not actually taught in schools, but they affect us in ways that in very impactful ways. So the things that I'll be sharing with you and teaching you, these are very deep concepts, okay, but they are not taught in schools. um, for most of us, our parents did not even these things because they don't know about them, okay. So but I'll be sharing with you, okay. So another section that we'll be learning about is called the universal laws. Okay. Now, you want to understand that just as there are laws that govern the way we live as citizens in any nation or country you are in, there are laws you have to abide by. There are laws, driving laws. There are, um, laws in the financial systems, things like that. There is laws of how you live and all that. There's laws to protect citizens. Now, in in life as well, all right. So in life, there is also laws that govern the things that happen to us, how we live. Okay. So uh, these laws, they guide how energy, um, operates and how life will work. Okay. So, okay, I might not be, really getting the right explanation. But anyway, bottom line is there are laws that also govern the way we live. Now, these laws, you might have heard some of these laws. I know the famous ones that are in the media or social media or YouTube. They talk of the law of attraction. Okay, so that's a universal law, and it is a true law that exists. And when you start understanding how it operates, you will see that yes, it's actually a law. Basically, the law of attraction simply states that like attracts like. So, for example, if you do good, more good will come to you. That's just an example. Okay, so that's how the attraction works. If you are, for example, if you've got a passion for football, you'll find you're more attracted to people who like football. That's that's basically one of how it works. But anyway, as we proceed, you will find that these are actually laws, and just like we have scientific laws, for example, the law of gravity. So the law of gravity, as we all know, it's a universal law. Now, what do we mean when we say it's a universal law? We mean it does not matter who you are. That law operates for everyone, whether you are black, green, white, yellow, or brown. Gravity operates on everyone. Okay, so that's how it's universal. Also, it does not care where you live. If you live in any part of the world, gravity will operate. It doesn't care whether you are tall, fat, or thin, gravity will operate. So that's why we call it a universal law. And basically, gravity, a simple understanding is that if you throw your wallet up, it has to come down. You throw a ball up, it has to come down. That's the law of gravity. But of course, the science and scientific world, they will give you a definition. But I'm going to use very simple terms that if you take your wallet or your phone up and throw it up, it can't keep going up forever and ever. It has to come down. And what makes it come down? That is that law. Whatever goes up has to come down. That's gravity. Okay. And it's a universal law. Universal simply means it will operate in for everyone the same. It will operate in any whether you go to any place. Okay. The only time it changes is maybe you go to the moon. Okay, because there's less force of gravity. So that's why you see the astronauts, they tend to be floating, but there is gravity still. Okay. But anyway, that's a bit technical and scientific. So we'll discuss those laws, and the laws we'll be discussing, just like there are scientific laws like gravity, there are also mental laws, okay, universal laws that operate within the mind on the mind level. Okay, and I gave you one example is what they call the law of attraction. Okay, that is the one of the laws that operates there. But we will look at a number of laws that you can use. Okay, to kind of move your life in a better. The whole idea of these laws is to bring harmony to your life. Okay, when you just like in life, if you don't obey the laws, you bring disharmony, you bring trouble. Okay, for example, if you don't follow or you break, the laws in your country or state, you might find, for example, that you might end up in prison. Okay, so because you've broken the law, there's always a consequence. Okay, so same thing with these universal laws. When you don't obey these laws and you break them, you then find some negative things happening to you in life. Okay, so and the negatives, just like in real life, breaking laws, you might end up, in trouble with the police or, or in prison. Now, in life, when you break these universal laws, you then can find yourself in situations that are not very pleasing. Sometimes it can manifest as just having a relationship problems. Sometimes it can become a financial problem, and you find that you struggle with money and all that. Does that will be a result of not following or breaking these laws. Now, how do you break these laws? Well, these laws are broken the very same way we break the laws in our everyday lives. Sometimes it's deliberate, sometimes it's ignorance. So some laws, especially in our everyday lives, some laws they are because you don't have to deliberately break a law. Sometimes you break a law unaware. What I mean is there are laws that are for example, in real estate, when you buy property, sometimes you might find to be on the other side of the law simply because you didn't understand the legal protocols of the process. And through that lack of understanding, people have lost property, they've lost houses simply because they didn't understand or didn't sign or didn't do a legal aspect that had to be done, and somebody can actually lose property. It happens in finance, and again, these are everyday examples. So the same way that you can be on the wrong side of the laws in real life, again, in universal laws, you don't have to deliberately say, oh, I want to break the law of attraction. No, you don't have to do that. Ignorance of how it operates leads to breaking the law. Okay, so just like they say that ignorance is no defense in a court of law, you can't say, "Oh, I, I did this, or I stole this because I didn't know that it was an offense." That is no defense. They will just take you to prison. Okay, and that's when that's when you learn the hard way that okay, stealing is not maybe a good idea, because the judge is not going to forgive you or not sentence you for not knowing. So same thing with universal laws. Universal laws, they will operate whether you know them or not. Just like I said that gravity is it's also one of the universal laws, right? So universal scientific law. Just like I said that if you throw your wallet up, the wallet is to come down. Whether you knew it or not, it will come down. Just like if you jump on top of a building, you won't go up, you will go down, right? So so that's also the reason why knowledge is important, and that's where the power of knowledge comes. Okay, now just knowing these laws is not good enough. You have to apply the law. Okay, because knowledge, if it's not applied, it's useless. Knowledge only becomes powerful when it is applied. Okay, so yeah, so those are some of the things that we are going to talk about on how universal laws guide how energy and life work. Now, believe me, these things they do work, but like everything in life, you have to apply the techniques, and you have to do the work for you to see the results. Okay, so to help you with those laws, I'll be sharing some techniques and exercises that you can start doing. Shift your energy uh, and clear your mind from a negative limited mindset to a more positive abundant one. Now, what do I mean a negative limited mindset? Now, you see, because these are things that are not taught in schools, and even our parents, they don't teach because they don't know. You will find that you might actually think that you're a very positive person, because you might think of that, okay, because you've got many friends and you smile, and that you've got a positive mind. But the mind itself, you see, some people, they are outspoken, they talk, but deep down inside, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of guilt going on, right? So that's what we mean that there is negativity in a mindset a mindset that there's pain, a mindset that just believes that I'm not good enough, or that I'm poor and all that. That's a negative mindset. Okay, because poverty is not a real thing. It only exists in the mind. All right. I know this is another one of those hard ones to believe, but basically, it's everything is in the mind, right? So your life, you will find as we continue, is that it's simply a projection or a reflection of what you think about yourself. Okay. And that's why you see with many examples and cases of people who've gone from poverty to power, from very limited conditions to become very powerful, wealthy, happy, and live very abundant lives, because it is a state of mind. Okay. But I don't want to dwell on that now. I will leave that for another day, right? So I will be sharing things that I've found, and the things I'm not sharing are not things that uh, I don't want to take like credit for this knowledge, right? I've read these things from books. I've had some mentors along the way who have taught me these things, and I've through reading, and I mean we've got everyday examples. We've got loads of successful people out there, and when you take time to listen, whether it's interviews or people share these kind of things, it's not like it's not new. It's out there in the public domain, and that these things work. All right. So these concepts have been known for, they say, from the beginning of time, right? These these teachings or these laws, these one of the greatest teachers of these laws is Jesus Christ. Okay. So those lessons on the power of faith, prayer, all those things, that's more those things are aligned with universal laws, because those are laws, and that's how you can do all those things that are being taught with different teachers. So the things, teachings of Jesus, the scientists, and you know people who have brought great contributions to this world have all agree that there are these powerful forces that any one of us can harness when you tap into your own mind. Okay, so that's the belief that they talk about, that faith that we can do things, that the human potential, right? We have great power within us, but it takes a certain understanding for you to unlock the power of this mind, right? Okay, so I will be talking about that them the exercises and what we can do to start moving from limited conditions towards positive, abundant settings. Okay, so I will also be introducing you to books that can support you in the journey, and also I'll share some of the mentors and experts in this field who can also inspire you as you grow in this journey. Why? Because as I said, I'm not going to take credit as if I'm the author of the things. That these are things that are out there. They are written in books. They are people who share and who have more knowledge than myself about this. The only thing I'm doing now is I'm also helping in spreading this great message, the message that everyone, each one of us, has the power to take full control of their lives, to live a happy, abundant life. Okay. Now, so it's about leading a happy, successful life. Now, I want to say at this point that the definition of success is one that you have to make for yourself, right? We are living in a world where success has been defined in terms that are, uh, that if you want to follow the definition of the society for success, you might end up, in a very miserable place. Society measures success with money, with the car you drive, how you look, whether you've got a toned body or you're beautiful or whatever, those things, right? That's the definition of success. And they've got a mesh. They use what I call materials, or they've got a materialistic way of measuring success. Now, that's not what we are here about. Success in the world of mind power and the universe is something you have to define for yourself, right? You have to understand that we are all unique in our own way, and my success is not your success, because we all have different missions to accomplish. You see, there are people who've come here to to excel in sport, and there are people who are here maybe to do educational work, and there are people who are maybe to inspire the people to. So we're different. So, but what you can't do is to measure. There is no one size fits all for success. Success is something that you define, and that is is what makes you happy. So somebody is happy because he drives a whatever car. That's fine. That's success to him. But it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone has to drive that car for us to say he's successful. Some people are successful at raising kids well. That's success in its own way. So thought I to mention that. So yeah, that's what I'm quite excited, as you can already see, because this this project, it's something that I've been working on for the past yeah, almost 12 years now, right? So these are concepts that I've been working on, and over, it's more than a decade of me learning about this, and it's only now, after after about 12 years of learning about how the mind works, because I've always been very passionate and in understanding how the world works, right? Because I've had a lot of I would say troubles along the way of life, understanding life in different parts, So, but that led me to go into a deep search of going to the bottom of what all these things are. What causes what makes one man happy and another man unhappy? Why is it some people are more successful than other people? Why is it some people live a happy married life while others struggle even to find a partner and things like that? Now, because when you ask questions, there are always answers, right? As they say in the greatest book, ask and you will find, right? Knock and the door will be opened. So same thing. Whatever you ask, an answer will come. And that's if you've got a genuine question, and you're really looking. When you start looking for the truth will reveal itself. But you have to be ready for that. You have to be ready and honest to yourself. So this is so this is basically what this is going to be about. So I'm very excited, and this is a very, very special day for me. Uh, I'm looking forward to work with you, and that we'll continue learning together, and we will become great, great people, of which we already are. Because I think everyone is a great person. It's just that somewhere along the line, we've 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 unfortunately believed that we are not as great as we are. But I want us to walk through that journey and find the greatness of who we are together. That being said, that's the end of the video today. And very excited that this journey has begun, and I look forward to working with um, the people that are going to be coming to this channel. And if you by any chance are watching this video today, I think we've been destined to spend some time together. And with that, I'll say thank you for watching. Like and subscribe this video. And I promise you that we're going to have a lot of fun together and learn a lot. And we're just going to enjoy. Thank you. Thank you very much.